Hi, I'm Chris Wilson from Grinding Gear Games. Welcome to GGG Live. Today, we're going to show you an exclusive reveal of Path of Exile Settlers of Kalgur, which launches next week on July 26th. Twitch drops are enabled on today's live stream, so make sure you follow the instructions below in order to claim your Corsair back attachment. In today's stream, we will take you on a deep dive into the new Settlers of Kalgur Challenge League. We'll cover the league mechanics, its new and revised crafting systems, a new trade market system for currency, some sweeping balance improvements including 2 Ascendancy class changes, endgame improvements, some further additions to the campaign, and some quality of life features. We'll then talk about our console native port releases and the features that come alongside them. Finally, we'll show you our new supporter packs, ending with a live Q&A session where Ziggy D will ask Path of Exile's game director Mark your questions from Twitch chat. After the livestream, we'll drop the full patch notes. I'll hand over to Mark now to introduce the new league.
We're really innovative with the content in this league, and I'm really excited to see what everyone thinks. So let's just get right into it with the trailer for Path of Exile, Settlers of Kalgur.
Let's fucking go, man. Let's see what they're going to bring us. I don't know what the sound quality is like, or what the sound like. I think it's okay. It looks okay at my end, so... yeah, we should be good.
Classed as a cursed land.
Yep,
You'd have
no
to
shit.
be mad to settle here.
I know it, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, we do.
And yet... Welcome to King's March! It's not much yet, but with your help,
Are they making
we
it
can
into a
erect
city
the
building?
greatest city Rayclast has
Yeah,
ever
you could
seen.
build cities, man, what the fuck?
We'll need resources. And savvy planning.
Yo, there's docks and ships and everything, man, look at it.
Soon we'll attract settlers, craftsmen, fortune seekers, and of course, pirates.
That's cool. No worries, man.
But if
Yo, look
we
at all that,
prevail,
man. It's almost
our
like turning
ships will be
into like
heavy
a
with
civilization game. Like obviously still being an RPG.
We
but-
hope to achieve the impossible. We hope to build a home.
Yo, that looks sick. Join the streets of Kalgur. Respec with gold. Yo, that's sick. You can actually respec with gold. That makes it life so much fucking easier. But there's gold, actually, thinking about it. Path of Exile's never had gold until now. It's always been currency, hasn't it? So, massive melee rebounds, endgame improvements. This looks sick already. I'm not ready to start. Yo. 1 PM July 26 PDT. What's 1 PM PDT? Let me search that before we keep going. 10 o'clock. Oh, it's funny. 9 PM, so basically my stream time is when this should be fucking on that Friday.
In Path of Exile Settlers of Kalgur, you will encounter some familiar faces from the Expedition League. Danig, Rog, Tujin, and Gwenin are Kalguran people who are trying to establish trade between Rayclast and their homeland. They have recruited many curious characters from Rayclast, including some you may recognize, but are also seeking help of a powerful exile, like yourself.
Makes sense. I mean, we kind of need it,
First
right?
encounter Johan,
Maybe.
the King's Hand and Lionized Watch.
If we're lucky.
He's there recruiting workers, traders, and exiles. Johan, under the command of the King of Kalgur, has been sent here to build a new city called King's March, which intends
Makes
to
sense.
become the hub of commerce between Rayclast and Kalgur.
King's March is a very popular name.
Soon,
It's in a
he
whole
will
bunch
bring
of
you
stuff
to the planned
that I've
site
seen.
for King's March,
Like, you know, different
which
media
you'll
and shit like
notice
that.
has humble beginnings as just a tavern in a field. But with your help, it won't stay like this for long.
I guess we can upgrade
It takes a lot to build a town. The Kalgurans will ask you to seek out resources that can be used to begin
I
construction.
mean, what the fuck are we using that for?
On your
I
adventures, you
mean,
might find minerals such as
are
crimson
we
iron,
infecting them?
which are
Are we
veins
turning
of
this
iron
into
that have
Warcraft?
been overrun with corruption, spawning dangerous foes when you approach. Or perhaps orichalcum, which you will have to liberate from the demons worshipping it.
Okay.
Petrified amber attracts mindless, blighted enemies, while bismuth has a strong affinity to the elements and causes the area to become unstable. If you're lucky, you might find vericium, a material as valuable as it is dangerous, and guarded by very powerful foes. Once you defeat these monsters, the deposit will automatically be tagged for mining. But first, we need to get someone to do the hard labor.
That's true.
This is, of course, a
I
trade
don't predict
expedition
us
and
mining
nothing is
anything
free.
in like PoE,
Miners,
to be honest.
along with other workers that the Calgurans
I mean, I know we
have
kind of
hired,
do. I
must
know we
be
do
paid in
like.
cold, hard
I know we do
gold,
delving,
which you'll
not
notice
really
is
the same
now
thing.
dropping throughout Rayclast. You will have control about who gets hired into your
yeah, man, we got
enterprise.
gold.
Once you have accumulated some gold,
You gotta love
head
having
to the
gold.
town and talk to the recruiter, Rolf. He's been busy tracking down hardy folk across Rayclast who are looking for work. You'll notice each person has their specialties and a wage cost.
Makes
It'll be
sense.
up to you to hire and fire as you please. Over the course of the league, you'll be searching for your perfect employees for each job. Once you have them, you'll have to keep them paid, safe, and alive, which we'll get into later.
But what if I don't want to keep them alive?
Here we have a prospect who has a specialty
I
in
mean,
mining.
I guess you kind of got.
We'll start
because
with
you got
that
to
so we
increase
can
their ranks
begin
and
to
shit,
retrieve some of those resources we were talking about
but
earlier.
we can kill some of them though, right?
Let's go find some more and put our miner to use. Oh, we've found a vein of orichalcum ore. It's guarded by dangerous demons worshipping a strange shrine. The shrine buffs the demons, giving them power, but once you defeat them, you can seize that power for yourself. After that, we can tag the ore, and our mining specialist will get to work. Soon, we encounter a few more deposits, each with a different dangerous encounter. After you have tagged the mineral veins, your miners will get to work collecting resources in real time. They might take a
Nice,
while,
okay.
but will continue whether you are logged in or not.
Ah, shit, that's cool.
The
So
work
it's
can
like
be sped up by
dailies,
hiring more
basically?
or better miners, and by upgrading the mining station back in
In a weird
Kingsmouth
way, it's like
to equip
dailies.
them with advanced pickaxes. Alright, some time has passed and our miners have been able to get the resources back to town. We've also
Like it gives
managed
you
to
more
collect
reason to
some more gold
log
too.
in each data, doesn't
We
it?
can now
So-
upgrade the town and build new structures.
No, so you're
There's
always
plenty
mining,
of
you're always
options.
doing something,
We
you're
just
always
need to
making sure
decide
you're
where to
producing.
start. I think we'll start with the tavern, the beating heart of Kingsmarch. It can be upgraded instantly to improve the recruiter's prospects, and you can find various important NPCs relaxing here. Next, we'll upgrade our mining station. You can upgrade this to improve the efficiency of your miners and allocate our newly
I
hired
guess you
workers
speed
to
up.
mining.
Time that way. Yeah. Makes sense.
You will eventually need a smelter, where you can send your ore to turn into more valuable bars.
Makes sense.
Then we have the Disenchanter, where you can bring your magic, rare, or unique items to be added to a queue to be disenchanted over time. The items will be broken down into thaumaturgic dust, a new resource used for crafting and shipping. We'll get more into that later. And of course, a town needs food. You could invest in farming, where you can select crops to grow and
Man, we're
harvest.
playing fucking
But don't
RuneScape,
worry,
man. Never mind.
you won't be
Path of
manually
Exile.
watering anything.
This literally feels like we're playing RuneScape.
The wonders of delegation.
Like
With
we're
all
like
these
doing
resources
half
piling up,
skills of
there will
RuneScape
be
in this
excess that we can spend. Let's talk about rewards in Settlers of Calgur. Eventually, you can build a harbour and establish shipping routes between a number of different Calguran and Karui ports for trade. You'll be able to pile your acquired resources onto these ships and send them to a port of your choosing.
Oh, nice. So you so
Where your
so
traders
we've
will
got
haggle
ports
for the
and
best
stuff like that.
deals.
Can we go on the
Each
ships?
port will return specific rewards based on what you
It
send
doesn't
them.
look like it. It looks like
They accept
like I said,
all
it's
types
like
of
RuneScape. You know how
resources, but will
RuneScape
have a
has its
preferred
ports
type that they'll
minigame.
currently pay more for.
It's legit like that.
And you'll want to get onto this, because eventually you could be bringing in shipments like this.
Oh shit. Okay.
This,
That looks nice. I mean, yeah. Okay.
or even this.
Don't get them. Definitely worth them. Definitely worth
Today,
investing
we're
into.
going to trade with Calgur. You'll notice that as we send more resources, this risk meter creeps up. Much like the dangers on the shores of Wrecklost, there are dangers out at sea. Monsters, pirates, environmental hazards. You'll want to try keep your shipment safe. You can do this by hiring workers that specialize in shipping. The more of them you add to the ship, the less risk there will be.
Yep, they basically
Like this gentleman,
took fucking
who's famous
RuneScape's
for
ports
fending
mod
off even the most
ported it,
dangerous of pirates.
you know, into their own style in the
Now
road.
let's get that shipment going, and we'll continue exploring
I imagine you can
Wrecklost
even
while
upgrade
we
the
wait
ships
for
to
its
make them
return.
sturdier and
This
stuff like
is
that
the
as well.
first
Maybe.
Path of Exile
Okay.
League that
Maybe
experiments
they
with
won't go that
true
detailed with it.
real-time mechanics.
Was that a sick
You can
pineapple?
send
That's
out
good,
shipments,
man.
go and have
I'm
lunch,
glad it was tasty.
and come back to your rewards. Many mechanics in the league work this way, so you'll always have some ongoing project or outcome to look forward to.
That's what
When
we
your
needed.
shipment has
Like,
returned,
because sometimes just
or met its
totally
demise,
doing
you'll
the
get
end game
notified.
gets
And
really
at
fucking
your leisure, you
repetitive.
can return to the town
So
to
having
collect
things
your
like this where you have
rewards.
dailies and
Our shipment
things always
returns
happening
safely.
sound like it's going to
So
make
let's go see
the
what we
game
got.
more fun to play.
Ooh,
I would
they've
say
sent
anyway.
us a unique item alongside our rewards, perhaps hoping to secure us as a loyal customer for the future. Aside from shipping, the Kalgurans are big on their technology. They have hired Isla, a familiar face from the Heist League. She is an engineer who the Kalgurans have employed for a very exciting purpose. You're not the only one who understands how profitable running maps can be. Once at endgame,
Yeah, what?
Isla can help you
What's
build a
this?
series of
Are those
Kalguran-modified
little...
map devices.
Can you make other people run maps for you?
You can then put a queue of maps into them.
Oh shit, yeah, you can literally
If
run
you've
maps like
hired
that.
a few skilled Atlas runners, they
Nah,
will put
that's
themselves
crazy.
to work running those
You
maps
can literally
for you,
force
one
people
after
to
another.
die in maps for you and like to give
Look,
you all the
more
loot, man.
delegation.
Holy shit. All they want is a little
Once
bit of gold.
again, you'll be notified when the rewards
Nah,
are
that's
ready to
crazy,
be collected.
man.
You can put lots of maps in the queue, so don't feel obliged to go back there all the time. Be careful though. The difficulty of the map impacts the risk of your workers perishing.
Yeah, makes sense. You wouldn't do a tier 6
Try
how
to
much
pick
you
your
wouldn't
best
do.
workers.
Unless your
Or
workers are
perhaps
really
just
fucking
ones
strong.
you don't like. Consider the difficulty too. Sometimes it's better to just run it yourself.
That's true.
You'll see there are many benefits to having a whole-ass town at your fingertips. Let's talk about crafting services. You should definitely consider building a runesmithing table. This is operated by Danig himself, using powerful Kalguran blacksmithing arts. He can engrave runic magic onto your weapons using runes. There are many rune types and combinations to choose from, and you can unlock new crafts that can be applied to your weapons as enchantments. Our design intention here is to take powerful effects you would usually only find on unique items,
Okay.
like this modifier, which you might recognize from Doomfletcher's Prism. Danig can apply it to your two-hand mason.
Oh shit, that's cool too.
There are over 100 different special crafting outcomes,
Interesting. They're
ranging
making
from ones
crafting,
very
like,
easily
more
applied
streamlined?
to very difficult.
No, so you don't
The
need
rune
very
types can
specific
be
items,
acquired
you just
through
need to
trade
have
with
enough of
Kalgur,
those things just
or
to
defeating powerful bosses.
upgrade your shit. It makes it so that you can be more
The
flexible with the item
Kalguran tech
sheets,
benefits don't end there.
which is interesting.
We're also bringing back a formerly overpowered crowd favorite, Recombination. Isla is trying to master this. She just needs you to help her with getting resources. The system isn't as strong as it used to be, but it still allows you to combine two items together, hoping to get the best modifiers of each onto
shit,
a
that's
single
cool.
item.
So if you got two that have things you want, you can make them into one and maybe.
Between running a
Get a
town,
better version.
shipping, and
Interesting.
exploring, you'll be collecting a lot of extra gold. It is now the primary resource for two huge new quality of life features that we are putting to test.
Okay.
Firstly, you can use gold to respec passive points.
Yep.
This is a feature from Path of Exile 2 that we've decided just makes sense to port back.
Makes
The
sense.
higher level you are, the more expensive it gets. And the next one is
I
absolutely
imagine you get a lot
massive.
of gold eventually, so.
A currency trade market. The Kalgurans have recruited Faustus, another NPC from the Heist League. He
Yo, is
allows
that
you
a
to
fucking
asynchronously
trade
buy
thing?
and sell
Like, you know, an
currency
in-game trade?
and most other stackable
Yo,
items.
people have been
with
asking
other
for in-game
players
trade for
without
a
the nuisance
very
of,
long time, man.
price fixes and
You
people
know, so you
who
don't
never
have to keep
respond.
using the fucking PoE website
All you need to do is
trade.
select what currency you want, say what you
Literally,
have,
it's a fucking in-game
and your
trade.
ideal ratio. It works kind of
That's
like
sick,
a
man.
real-life stock market.
Like, even I went asking for this, and I'm like basically
Faustus
new
will
to
make the
PoE.
trade happen for you.
In-game
so
trade
long
is
as
gonna
there
be
is
sick.
someone selling on the other
Because it means,
end
like,
for the
even
same
like if
rate
you're on
or
stream,
less.
people can see what you're doing instead of like,
You'll be able to go back
you
to
know, you're just on a
blasting
website
monsters
clicking
while
buttons and
trusty
people can't
Faustus
see
does
what
the
you're
dirty
doing. So.
work. notifying
very
you
good
when your
for streamers as
currency
well.
is ready for collection.
But good for
All
the
you
whole
need to do is
economy.
pay him a small amount of
If it's
gold for his
balancing.
time. Cards on the table. This
Like, you know,
is an
if the price is
experiment to see
working,
if this type of
what they're set
asynchronous
at, exactly.
trading has a place in future Path of Exile releases. We're very excited to see how it goes.
I imagine it still plays that.
Now, given
the
that
prices for
Faustus
things.
is an expert in black market trade and shady deals, he also provides another service, offering items for gold. The
Okay.
items will generate with random rarity, and on average, the modifiers on them are better than normal.
Oh shit, okay.
This can be a very nice way to get some targeted items during the campaign.
Interesting. So we
For
basically
serious
buy half a
crafters,
shit from
it
the
can
black
be a
market
great
during
starting
this
point for
campaign.
making those elusive, specific
On
in-game
Friday.
items, which perhaps you could take to the runesmith afterwards. It's worth noting that you can invite Faustus to your hideout, where he will always be available for respecking, currency exchange, and black market items.
Sick, okay.
As your
That's
town
handy, sir.
grows, it will attract more attention, good and bad. Settlers of Kalgur features 3 endgame bosses that will close in on your operations, wanting a piece of the pie. They might capture and ransom your workers, even your entire ships. You'll have to make some tough decisions. Will you take them on or pay them off? One
Depends
example of a
on
boss is
what they're shipping
Sasan,
back,
the
or who is.
Bandit Lord. You won't stumble
I guess they
across
have good
this
drops,
boss
like,
by
you know, these new...
accident. Instead,
guessing these are
this
bosses that
unsavory
are
character
gonna
can
drop
come
some
into
nice
your
stuff.
town at night and take your Atlas runners hostage, holding them for ransom. What happens next is up to you. Perhaps you'll refuse to negotiate with bandits, leading
Maybe.
to a fight to defeat Sasan and rescue your workers. If you're not up for the heroics, you might simply pay the ransom in gold.
Okay.
Or perhaps these workers were especially disappointing, and you'll just leave them for dead in true
Yep,
Ray
that's
class
me.
fashion.
Leave them for dead,
They
motherfucker.
knew what they were signing up for, right?
Totally.
Of course, the heroics might be worth it for other reasons. These bosses can
Yeah, they
drop
probably
new
drop,
unique items.
Like, oh, we've got new uniques, okay. Ooh, that looks nice.
In sum, Settlers of Kalgur is a very experimental league with new mechanics that will completely change how you play the core game. We've been sitting on a lot of these ideas for a while and can't wait to share them with you. But there's a lot more to this expansion. Let's talk about balance.
Oh shit, this was only
Well,
the fucking
we've finally
league, we're not even
rebalanced
into
the
balance yet.
Gladiator. It's been a long time coming. Like before, there are passive skills that allow you to invest in bleeding and block. We've designed new skills replacing some of the old ones. Like this, War of Attrition, which is very handy for long sustained boss
yes,
fights. Further
Interesting.
alongside the Gladiator theme, this new passive allows you to combine different weapon types while dual wielding
I
to
think
get a variety
because
of
we know
powerful
they're
bonuses.
rebalancing melee, we're
example,
gonna have to go melee
Holding a
at the
dagger
start
will
of this
give you
league.
more critical strike chance, while holding a mace gives you more area of effect. Of course, you could just use Varanastra for all weapon type bonuses. And finally, we have a new notable which allows you to invest in the newly added retaliation skills. These are active skills which require you to meet a
This
certain
looks like it's gonna
condition
be a
in order to
very
use them.
fucking good league there.
Once you meet that condition, you can unleash devastation on your foes. Here we have Eviscerate, which requires you to have a shield. Or for those who like to dual wield, Sword Storm, which is great for obliterating bosses.
Yo, that's
Here
crazy, isn't
we
it?
have the Divine Retribution skill. This one has the condition requiring you to block. You can then unleash a devastating spell, causing lightning bolts to strike the ground in an X shape around your target location, doing huge amounts of damage.
That's insane.
And
as
of
well.
course, in true Path of Exile fashion, there are
Yep, it's all
many
good for the
avenues
place.
to invest in these
From the
mechanics
looks of it.
further on the passive tree.
You know, I think they're
and
trying
the
to
new
make it more
support tree.
accessible.
You
Slowly,
are
but
able
slowly
to
but
increase
surely,
the
you know,
leeway
adding in things
duration
that are
after
just
meeting the
helping everybody.
condition, reduce the cooldowns, or just increase
Honestly,
their damage.
GGG don't always
The
get it
world's your
right, but
oyster.
they do their very best. This is huge, though.
The Gladiator wasn't the only
They've done
ascendancy
more in
class
4
we've
months than
changed.
Diablo's done in like
As
a
we
fucking
develop Path
year,
of
man.
Exile systems, we often find ourselves reusing mechanics,
That
increasing
includes
their
them making the
depth,
whole
and
expansion of
allowing
Diablo
more
4 as well.
avenues to invest into them. As such, the Raider Ascendancy class found itself lacking, with many of its passives commonly available elsewhere. We want our Ascendancy classes to always feel like they're pushing the boundaries, allowing you to change your character in ways that are meaningful and ideally unique. As a result, we've straight up removed the Raider, rest in peace.
Ah, shit, okay.
And we've added a new class in its place, the Warden. This
nice.
class is largely inspired by its predecessor from the Affliction League, with a few changes. The Warden now focuses on elemental attacks, changing the behavior of Shock, enhancing Freeze,
Oh shit, that's a lot of stuff to play with.
and replacing Ignite with Scorch.
That means you can like
There's also a skill that allows you to go
unspec these with
ballistic
gold
with
as
your
well.
elemental
Though,
damage.
you know, if you
periodically.
can like
The class also
respec your
grants
skills,
Spark
which is
Skin,
gold, you can respec
which
these,
is a
which is
skill
gold
that
as
can
well.
be used to mitigate physical damage from hits.
It might be expensive, don't get me wrong.
After taking a number of hits, it increases your evasion, making it a great defensive choice. Finally, the last thing the Warden can specialize in is tinctures. These are
What
an
are tinctures?
alternative to flasks from the Affliction League.
Oh, okay.
We're bringing them back with adjusted mechanics.
Makes sense. Are they like an activated thing, I guess it's a potion,
Tinctures
so
can be
they
placed
have
in
to
your
be, right?
belt, replacing flasks. You can inherently only have one tincture active at a time, and it requires a melee weapon to use. While activated, they grant a powerful buff. They can drop as magic items
Yo,
or
man, that
be
sounds
modified
amazing.
with
Did you read that?
currency to grant extra bonuses.
It literally forced
Here
bleed.
is a prismatic tincture.
Anti-hit.
This one increases elemental damage by 100% while active.
Well, not that one, but the other
You'll
one did.
notice it has two extra effects.
100% increase
elemental
elemental damage?
mana burn
Yo.
every second.
100% is a
Mana
fucking
burn is a
crazy,
debuff
man.
that builds up while tinctures are active that causes you to lose mana, losing more mana for each stack. Tinctures also have a cooldown, so once you have disabled one, no other tincture can be enabled for a time. These changes make tincture use a more active and interesting choice than it was in Affliction.
Definitely.
Both mana burn and the cooldown can be modified through modifiers on the tinctures or on the passive skill tree. Players will want to maximize their tincture uptime for sure. Here we have a couple other tinctures. The Poisonberry tincture is excellent for poison builds. The Rosethorn tincture is the choice for those wanting to deal critical strikes. You might be wondering, with the removal of the Raider, where has the Frenzy Charge investment gone? We've added a Frenzy Charge passive skill to the Deadeye, replacing the Rupture passive skill.
You gotta try Deadeye again this league, so to see
On
what's
top
like.
of Ascendancy classes, we have revisited a number of core mechanics.
We got a
This
whole
time
bunch of shit that I
taking
want to
pains
try out.
to
already,
ensure
so-
easy access through the passive tree, skill gems, and simple items. We don't want all the powerful mechanics to be hidden behind layers of complexity.
Makes sense.
Let's
You want it
just
to be more
rapid
accessible to
fire
new
through the
players.
key points.
Or
If you want more detail
Yeah, so
later,
you can
you
get
can read the
powerful
patch
quicker.
notes, which will
Whichever
be
way.
dropped after the live stream. Be sure to let us know what you think. There's a lot of changes, so be prepared for a bit of a shock to the system. I expect it
tell,
will
man,
take
that's a fuck
several
ton of
days for
changes.
the dust to settle on this one. Firstly, we've made some drastic alterations to melee skills.
okay.
Let me just rip this band-aid off. Melee totem skill gems have been removed.
Oh, okay. No more totems? That's
We're
interesting.
trying to adopt a philosophy with Melee going forward that, unlike other builds, it will be far less oriented around set and forget gameplay. You will deal the damage yourself, and
Oh shit,
you
that's cool.
should be
They made
rewarded
melee
for doing
more
so.
like in your face. You know,
To
where you're swinging
compensate,
your
we have
axe or
buffed the
whatever the fuck
damage
at
on
somebody.
almost every single melee skill. As the majority of this damage growth comes from gem levels, we have also made them cost more mana as they level, but it's
Okay.
nothing like the mana costs on spells. Here are some examples of the damage and costs before and after.
It's,
Heavy Strike has gone from dealing 313%
what?
attack
That's
damage
like a
at gem
200%
level 20
increase? Or
to
over
a
200%
massive
increase?
552% attack
Yo,
damage.
mate, that's insanity.
It's also worth noting it no longer knocks enemies back. And Sweep has gone from dealing 281% attack
600,
damage
man? Like, from
to
281
now
to
dealing
600, like, what?
664% attack
Yo,
damage
melee's
at
gonna
gem
be
level 20.
insanity to play this league.
These are just two examples, but the majority of melee skills are now dealing approximately
I know what I'm doing.
75% more damage at
At the
level
start
20.
of this league.
Of course, with melee comes close proximity combat, so you need some good defensive options. New base types with higher defensive values will now drop throughout the endgame. As you reach yellow, red, and purple maps, you can expect to find higher tier base types in each.
Okay.
For example, Val Regalia and Hubris Circlet are no longer the best in slot items for Energy Shield.
Oh shit, that's cool.
There are
So there's
new base
they've
types
added
that
more
surpass them.
defensives and
Combined
energy
with
shield.
some quality
and
changes,
everything
which
else.
we'll talk about soon,
That's very cool.
you can now get better items than ever before in these slots. To compensate, we have reduced the amount of flat evasion and armor from the Grace and Determination auras. But overall, you're getting more defenses than before.
That's good. It's what you need if you're going all, like, you know,
On
toe-to-toe
top of
with
this,
things.
we have buff
You need
life
that
modifiers
defense,
on
especially
magic
for
and rare
like
equipment.
the mana class.
You can now get as high as 189 additional maximum life from a single modifier on body armors.
Yo, that's
and more on
a
other
lot,
slots
man.
too. Kalm's Heart has also finally been restored to its former glory and once again grants plus
1,000 to
1,000 to
maximum life.
maximum life.
Holy shit.
I mentioned quality. Quality on weapons and armors is being changed to apply multiplicatively. In other words, weapons with full quality will give 20% more physical damage, and armor with full
More
quality will
reasons
have
to
20%
the
more local
quality of whatever
defenses.
you're using.
For
It gives you more
melee,
energy
this
shield,
will mean a
more
damage increase
defense,
for
and more
almost
damage.
all builds using physical damage
Always
attacks.
good. I mean, it always did that
And it will
anyway,
mean
but
more evasion,
it's just adding more
armor,
onto that now.
energy shield, and ward for all builds. Endurance charges no longer grant elemental resistances, but instead grant additional elemental damage reduction, making it multiplicative with resistances. You can now get 4% per charge, alongside the existing 4% physical damage reduction.
Okay, so you can
To
reduce it that
compensate,
way.
we have made some
So you've
changes
got
to the
defense, you
Juggernaut,
have resistances,
and
then you have
various
the
unique items like
physical
Eternal
and elemental
Damnation.
reductions.
You can get
That's
more
good.
maximum resistances from the tree, specifically around the Marauder class start. These of course can stack with the new elemental mitigation from endurance charges.
That's
On top
awesome.
of this,
I wonder what
guilds
builds
can
people,
now roll
people are going
maximum
to come up with
elemental
this week.
resistances as modifiers.
Wouldn't be fantasy.
Since we're
This
making
information is not
elemental
for me.
mitigation more accessible,
I know.
we've heavily
You're totally
reduced
fine.
accessibility to physical
Basically,
damage
what
taken as
this dude
chaos
is saying
or
is
elemental
that
damage.
melee is going to be so strong, it's
Both
going
techs
to
are still
obliterate
around, but you should
everything.
not expect to be getting full conversion anymore.
They also removed a few things
All
and
block
added a few
passives
things.
have been
and-
buffed,
Yeah.
so you can now more easily achieve
layman's
block
terms,
cap
anyway.
from just the passive tree. The Keystone Versatile Combatant has been improved to have less of a penalty to maximum block. A number of Life Leech passives have been buffed to
Oh, shit,
generally
that's cool. You
allow
get
for
even
more
more life
acquisition
leech.
of maximum leech rate for life.
Nice.
Vow Pact has been reinstated to its former glory for instant Life Leech.
Life leech from melee
But
damage is
only
instant,
for
cannot
melee.
recover life other than from leech.
We've
Okay,
reworked
makes
Flesh
sense.
and Stone. Previously,
That's
this buff skill granted Maim and Blind, depending on the stance of our character. Now, while in Sand stance, the skill simply provides damage mitigation, becoming more effective the closer you are to enemies. While in Blood stance, enemies will take more physical damage the closer you are to them.
Yep.
This skill will now
I mean, you could
greatly
anyway,
favor
but
melee
like the melee
or
skills were
close
based on
range gameplay.
totems a lot. So they've removed totems and made it so that you're
Given
in
we're doing
people's
a
faces.
Kalguran League, Ward has
Like there's a
also
lot of
received
melee
a bit of
builds
attention.
or melee builds that use totems.
There are new uniques that
And now
grant
those are
ward,
gone completely.
and the base
So
restoration
they've
of
made
ward
it so
is now
that you just
faster.
swing your axe, I think so.
To compensate,
Whichever way. No, like a
Olaf's
true
Resolve
melee
has
build.
been nerfed, but ward loop builds will still be possible. Anyway, that was most of the purely defensive changes. Now let's look at
That's
some
all
of
the
the
defensive?
offensive
That's
and
nice.
utility-based ones.
God damn it, man. How many
There are
changes did they
more
do,
and
man?
better
Holy
ways to deal
shit.
with mana as an attacker on the southern hemisphere of the passive tree. Wands, daggers, scepters, claws, and staves now have higher critical strike chance values than ever. Wands can go as high as 10% without
Oh
modifiers.
shit, that's a lot of critical strike.
Sandstorm Visage has been made rarer to compensate, instead of reducing its power. For you wand attackers, wands now have higher attack speed than ever to compensate for their low damage. Wand exclusive skills such as Power Siphon, Kinetic Bolt, and Kinetic Blast now have faster attack times.
Okay, makes sense.
Impale passives have been revised
So they got rid of a
and
little
in
bit of
general
damage, added
buffed.
more speed. In essence. Good.
The buffs granted by Warcries are now simpler, but more significant, and more universal to builds. They also now apply to allies by default.
That's good.
Banners have been reworked. Instead of having a reservation cost, they are now free. However, they don't grant a permanent buff. Banners now need to be placed for the effect to be active.
Oh, okay.
However,
So it's more
once
like
placed,
a
they are far
more
more
active
powerful
style
than
of playing
before.
banners.
Additionally, there are new ways to prolong the effects and more ways to invest in them than ever before.
Basically, more buttons to press. Not that we needed more buttons to press.
Rage has been made more fundamental and discoverable. Rage is now multiplicative attack damage, but no longer inherently grants attack speed or movement speed. It has a new cap, and you can find many new passive clusters that allow you to invest into the mechanic. The goal is to make Rage more powerful as a baseline, and less gated behind the use of specific unique items and ascendancy classes. Berserk has been nerfed, just so you're aware. We have changed how bleed works too. You can now find aggravated bleed on the passive tree. When applied, all bleeds on the enemy will deal damage as if the enemy is moving for the remainder of their duration.
That's awesome. So it bleeds no matter
what. The skill Ensnaring Arrow no longer interacts with bleed, so no more will you have to apply bleeds and swap to a bow. You can now achieve the same result using aggravated bleed passives without the annoyance.
Makes sense.
Rupture from the Deadeye has been turned into a support gem. We've added the new Overexertion support gem, which highly favors slam builds. Now, it's time to look at a hot topic, Magic Find.
Basically, we could probably build about 40 or 50 builds during this league just because so much stuff has changed.
All character items. This will not
like each thing has changed so much that you can just replay
Magic Find is intended to be another access on your gear you can scale once you have achieved the power you want. With item quantity being only available on unique items, this meant if you wanted to get the most out of it, you had to be playing a very specific build. We still want people to be able to invest into Magic Find, but now only through item rarity.
Okay.
This can be obtained on a number of rare item slots, and by a much larger number of builds. What about Ventor's Gamble, you might ask? Here it is now. This is one of the biggest balance patches we've ever done. I can't promise that existing builds will all be safe.
No,
even we aren't able to predict all the outcomes.
The changes will be good
nor have we even gone into every single change. Just the major
all
ones.
That shit in between, man.
I don't know, man.
Looks like overall it's a very good patch. It's a very good season coming.
The sheer number of new, viable options
because Necropolis was one of their worst.
Especially
so
for
this
melee.
Looks like it's going to be one of the best.
And we're determined to drag the game in a better direction. Be sure to read the patch notes after this. It's going to be a ruckus.
Yeah, I bet.
In 3.24, we overhauled the in-game experience by introducing a new tier of maps and reworking scarabs. We want to continue to improve these systems and introduce more exciting in-game content every league. 3.25 is no exception. Let's check out the myriad of changes coming in
It's a good job I gave myself an hour to watch, isn't it? I wasn't expecting this to be so huge.
We are changing many scarabs. We won't go into too much detail here to avoid getting lost in the weeds, but here's a few new ones. Be sure to check out the patch notes after this for more detail.
Okay, makes sense.
We've also added an additional map device slot, which will be unlocked upon completing your first 10-way Maven encounter. This simply allows for more combinations of scarabs and maps, resulting in more difficulty and more rewards. This is on top of the existing additional slot that can be unlocked by completing your first Tier 17 map. There are now 6 map device slots in total.
Yeah, that's sick. That's a lot.
You might have seen our
teaser,
where we revealed we'll be adding new special encounters to the in-game. One such encounter is the Nameless Seer, lurking in Tier 16 and 17 maps. This NPC will give you a selection of unique items, and you can pick one for free. In Tier 16 maps, cool. He now has an additional feature, where you can scry a map. This allows you to swap the divination card drops of the current map with another map on your atlas.
Oh shit, that's awesome.
Just one caveat. You cannot have the same map be in multiple swaps at the same time. If you want to undo your choice, you can use a scouring orb on either map on your atlas. We've also made some updates to a couple of leagues. Blight has been updated with some atlas passive skill changes. And double anointed amulets can now drop in Blight Ravage maps. We've also introduced a new type of oil that can only drop from Blighted and Blight Ravage maps. Ritual has also been updated. You can now find one new and many reworked base types, new unique items,
How much stuff did they put into this, man? Holy
Corpses you
shit.
can use to raise as specters.
They didn't have that long, right? Like, 4 months is not that
And
long to,
occasionally
like,
a
build
fragment,
an
granting
entire
access
season
to
and
the
to build
King
an
in the Mist's
entire
boss fight from the
change of
Affliction League.
this. This is
He
insane.
will drop a number of unique items that were familiar from the League, but not that which was taken, as it is now that which was taken away. However, he now drops a different modular jewel that you might recognize from the Necropolis League. In Tier 16 and Tier 17 maps, you can now encounter the Wildwood, also from the Affliction League.
Oh, yeah.
In case you missed it,
I remember
the
that.
Wildwood is a mysterious forest fraught with danger. In the darkness, you will find magical wisps yearning for freedom. Upon releasing them, they will empower the monsters in your map, promising more danger but more rewards. You may also find random sentinels on the ground near the start of your maps, from the Sentinel League. They work in a similar way to before. They aren't items, but you can click on them and then they can be activated in that area at any time of your choosing. Upon activation, they will buff monsters around you, increasing their difficulty and rewards. And here's one for those who like to live dangerously. You may occasionally find a reflective mist from the Kalandra League. It has two outcomes.
No idea what that league was.
It could drop a jewelry item with randomly enhanced or inverted modifier values,
Okay, that's intelligent.
or
makes
it can give a reflecting mist item, which can be used on an existing piece of jewelry to perform the same action at a time of your choosing. Good
Makes
luck!
I'll have to play with it.
There's many other
To know what
small
it does
changes to League
completely, but-
content.
Yeah.
We're removing the first 15 most boring waves of the simulacrum and rebalancing its rewards to improve the chances of finding unique jewels. We're also adding some of the beasts from Einhar's Memory of Harvest Beasts to the core pool. This includes the Black Morrigan. In other news, we've added a set of new chisel types,
Yeah,
which
they
can be
added more
applied to your
chisels as
maps
well?
to get different bonuses.
I swear. It's like they
While
have
the
infinite time.
Cartographer's chisel still increases
I don't know
item
how they
quantity,
managed to
there are
actually
new
do this.
ones that now increase rarity, pack size, increased chance for currency items, divination cards, and scarabs. It's also worth mentioning that chisels now apply 20% quality per chisel to white maps, 10% to yellow maps, and 5% to red maps and higher.
Okay.
Unique maps still require the full 20 chisels. Also, only one type of chisel can be applied to a map at a time.
Excellent.
During 3.24, we made a change to Tier 17 maps that allowed them to be rerolled with Chaos Orbs. We are now expanding the currency types that can be used on them to also include currencies like chisels and Val Orbs.
Okay, that makes it cheaper.
Ultimately, the
Normally
only
you have, like, a
restriction
lot
Tier
of Val Orbs
17
that
maps
aren't
now
really
have
much.
is that explicit modifiers cannot
Once
be
you get more
removed from them.
towards tier 16, 17 maps.
We have also revised the difficulty of these maps, as they didn't quite hit the mark. The monsters in them now have substantially less life, and deal less damage, meaning Tier 17 maps now better fit into the progression between Pinnacle and Uber Pinnacle content. Lastly, we've adjusted the drop rate of Valdo's puzzle boxes. Previously, we were adapting its drop rate based on the possible outcomes selected by supporters. So many supporters really wanted Mage Bloods, so the box was hardly dropping. Thus, we have drastically increased the drop rate of the box, but reduced the probability of getting chase unique items from it, like Mage Blood. Overall, we have taken care not to reduce the number of Mage Bloods total in the economy. We figured it was better to have more tickets for fun rather than barely seeing any boxes in a league.
It makes sense.
We've been hard at
Gives
work
you more
improving the Path of
satisfaction of
Exile
things dropping.
experience on consoles. With native ports for the Xbox Series consoles already being released, and PS5 on the near horizon, the game now takes full advantage
This
of
league
the
looks
console
like it's going to be
hardware.
sick though.
Loading
Can't
times
wait
have
to
been
fight.
reduced
It's
even
going to be
further,
amazing.
pop-in has been reduced, and textures won't start unloading in heavy scenes. Furthermore, overall visual fidelity has been improved for all new generation consoles. Path of Exile now uses the highest available resolution textures and water effects. We've installed a new upscaling algorithm that improves the crispness of dynamic resolution, with an additional anti-aliasing pass on top of that. With these upgrades, we also support variable refresh rate TVs and monitors on PlayStation 5 and on all Xbox consoles.
That's cool.
In the options, players can now choose
Okay, we will
which
finally
aspect of visual
look like it does
fidelity they
amazing.
want to focus on. Resolution, image quality, or target frame rate.
Trust me, it looks really shit on like.
In 3.24,
like,
we added some
before
new
this,
encounters
like,
and secrets to the
PvP looks shit
campaign.
on
In
consoles.
Settlers of Calgary,
It looks
we're
really
adding
horrendous.
even more. We're not going to spoil them all here, but keep an eye out for anything unfamiliar on your adventures. Who knows what you'll find?
Fuck, okay.
I mean,
More campaign changes.
I know, but still. There's an underground bunker underneath the refinery, guarded by powerful robots. I wonder what's been hidden away here.
I guess we'll
How
find
do
out.
I unlock this mysterious door? What riches must lay inside? Blighted growths have appeared in the gardens and sewers of San. A vault containing riches can be found in the reliquary. As you might have seen in our teasers, there's a slew of quality of life features we've been working on. Here's a quick summary.
Yeah, they were
You'll
posting
no
loads of
longer need to
quality of life
interact with
things on there.
waypoints to unlock them. You can just
That's
walk
right.
by and they'll activate automatically.
Oh, that's cool.
When using
That's
keyboard and
one less
mouse,
click.
you'll be able to pick up items from further away. We're adding static life bars to some bosses. Not all bosses
awesome.
will have them just yet, but we'll be adding more over time. You can now see which divination cards drop in each map by hovering
handy.
over them on your
That's
atlas.
really fucking handy.
When
It
you
says we
die,
have to search. I
you
can
can
just
now
hover.
resurrect without having to reactivate all your reservation
Oh shit,
effects,
that's huge.
like
Look at that.
auras and
You
heralds.
can die and I have to press a bunch of
You
buttons
can
to put all
start
this shit back
harvest
on.
encounters with
I
just
always
a
forget.
single action.
You know, I'll run back in and totally forget to put shit back on
The
sometimes.
amount of quality provided by currency
That's
items
really
like
handy.
whetstones
It's like,
is now based on the
quality of
item
life, I
level,
guess.
rather than item rarity. Those currencies now apply a 20% quality to very low-level items, with that amount reducing as the item level increases. Next up, we're going to be talking about our new League supporter packs.
This is the cash
Today,
grab. I
we're
mean, like, they
launching two
fucking
new
deserve
series
it.
of supporter packs, the Paladin and Penance packs.
And it's not like you don't get anything for it.
Each
It's just like, you
tier
know, the
contains
fancy
the pack's
armors and
full
shit that you
face
can
value in points, alongside several exclusive microtransactions. These packs are only available for the duration of the Settlers of Calgary League, and will leave the store forever when it
I think
ends.
it's just the supporter packs and then the
As
into the Q&A.
always,
So.
the
Pretty sure that's
microtransactions in
basically
these packs
everything
are
from
purely
there.
cosmetic and do not
Oh,
affect your
look at the
character's
support
power
pack
or
there.
progression in any way. The Paladin series of supporter packs contains 6 exclusive microtransactions. Adorn your weapon or shield with the Paladin weapon effect. Make a show of leveling up with the Harpy Flyover level up effect.
That's fucking cool.
Equipping the Divine Paladin armor set will periodically cause slain enemies to be consecrated and laid to rest.
That's cool
This
too.
set also comes with a matching back attachment. Both the helmet and back attachment have options to display the radiant glow, or not, you pick. The Divine Judgment finisher effect locks onto unique enemies before obliterating them with a
Yo,
laser from
that's
the
sick, man.
heavens.
It's all just for
May your
looks, but it's still
critical
sick.
hits resonate across Rayclast with the Cleric's Bell back attachment. Invite your friends to spend a day at the races in the Vasteri Racecourse hideout. Add rowers to the track to race them against each other. Or you can just spectate from the sidelines. The Penance Pack series also has 6 exclusive microtransactions. With the Penance back attachment equipped, a repentant soul is chained to your back and
Man,
lashed
that
with
looks
lightning.
fucking cool.
Ouch. Place none other than the Trial Master in your hideout and have him comment on your chaos
I don't want to buy microtransactions, but it looks so cool.
But far fairer now than in ancient times.
and Val crafting attempts.
Your luck is over, fool.
He even keeps a record of how many Chaos and Val orbs you've used in your hideout during the League, or across all leagues. Blood stains your armor the more life you lose when wearing the Acolyte's Penance armor set.
Okay, that's cool as shit.
The Zealot's Madness portal effect fragments as you near it.
That's kind of lame. But, okay.
The Cauldron map device boils maps, fragments, and scarabs placed into it. keeping a tally of how many have been thrown into the pot in the current league or across all leagues.
That's really cool.
The exiled squire pets follow in your footsteps, hyping you up for battles,
No sweat for you, boss.
providing
Is it
pessimistic
because you own little
commentary,
hype, man?
The cycle repeats.
or voicing their disdain for you to bring you down a peg.
About time you kicked the bucket.
These packs are now available for purchase on both PC and console, and will remain so during Path of Exile, Settlers of Kalgur. Meanwhile, the Solar and Eldritch packs leave the store forever at the launch of Settlers of Kalgur League, so now's your last chance to purchase them. Thank you so much for your ongoing support. Now, we have one more thing to announce before getting into the Q&A. We are soon going to be running a small closed beta test for Path of Exile 2.
But yeah.
We have been
That's
taking
basically
sign-ups for the
everything.